Good morning, everyone. Just trying to get this all loaded up for this morning. Here we go. There's my screen, so I'm on my iPad. Welcome, everyone. We'll just give it a minute or two for people to jump on this morning. If you're watching this on replay, fantastic. We are going to be talking about the new Spellbinders universal plate system. And so it's got some good information. I'm going to do some actual embossing and that kind of thing. And just bear. All right, you guys can, oh, sorry about that little glitch there. We are back. We are back. And got a couple of you watching, so please say hello in the comments and we will get started. Again, if you are watching this on replay, absolutely no worries. Feel free to drop your comments or your questions in the comments, and I will try my best to keep an eye on them throughout the next day or so. We will also upload this video to YouTube so everybody can watch on replay. All right, so let's jump right in. Hello. Today we are talking about the new universal plate system from Spellbinders. And it really sounds quite grand and exciting, but don't be intimidated. It is very easy to understand. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of differences compared to the previous system, compared to Big Shot. This system is compatible both with the Spellbinders Platinum 6 as well as your Big Shot. Where's my little... So you can use this in the Platinum 6. You can use this in the Platinum, which is the bigger Spellbinders machine, and you can use this in the Big Shot. Now, I know I've had some questions regarding whether this is good in, say, the Big Kick, which all the research that I have seen shows that the Big Kick and the Big Shot are the same type thing. So I would be very safe in recommending that. I see Kelly here. Is this something you would want for the Switch? Well, the Switch being so new, I would hesitate to recommend crossing your brands for the from Spellbinders to the Switch. I have heard that it is compatible. However, when I talk through all of the differences, I will let you make that decision whether you want to take that, I'm going to say take that chance or not. Given the size of the plates that come with the Switch, you may not need this, but we can discuss that a little bit later on. And if you still want some more questions, want some more information, I can reach out to my rep and just confirm 100% the compatibility with the Switch. Sorry, a little froggy this morning. So let's get into it. The universal plate system. So this is a new system from Spellbinders that has a whole series of plates. And I have it right back here. There are, I believe, 7 plates. There's 7 pieces in the set. Now that's because you get 2 of the cutting mat. Let me just make some room here. And let's go right from the bottom. So your bottom is your base plate. Let me make sure I'm up here on the camera. Your bottom is your base plate. You're going to need this for everything. And just like previous base plates or platform bases, it does give you the sandwich right on the plate here, so you don't need to keep a little piece of paper or anything else. If you are using Spellbinders products, you've got your basic sandwiches right here for cutting a die, embossing a die, using a standard embossing folder, and using a 3D embossing folder. And maybe I'll take this opportunity right now to address why does this system exist at all? And it's primarily because of embossing folders. In our industry, Thinlits dies are pretty standard across companies. So whether you buy a Lawn Fawn die, a Pink Fresh die, a Spellbinders die, an Elizabeth Crafts die, the thickness and the ability to cut is pretty standard. Your sandwich is pretty standard regardless of what brand of die you are using. But when it comes to embossing folders, specifically the 3D embossing folders, the technology is so wide ranging and the result is so different that it makes it really hard. And for quite a long time, you really could not use a 3D folder in a Spellbinders machine. This is a Tim Holtz folder. You can see how thick that is compared to a 3D folder from Spellbinders. And these are brand new. There's such a wide variety in thicknesses that they really wanted to come up with a system that will allow you to use all the different brands and all the different folders in your system. And their previous system just wasn't flexible enough without really risking damage to your machine. So what they basically did is they took their base plate and chopped it into two. And I'll come back and I'll do an A through F on this as well. But if you look, this is my original Spellbinders platform. See how thick it is? It really made it difficult to be versatile and arrange the thicknesses. Here, when you've got the two thicknesses together, they are both the same. But you can then take this platform top off, and now you've got it a little bit thinner. I'm sorry, I'm hoping this is coming up well against on the camera here. Gives you that more flexibility to mix and match and get those embossing folders that you want to use through your machine. While they were making those changes, they're like, you know what, let's make a few other changes just to make this even more useful for customers. Look at the difference in length. So with the original plates for the Platinum 6, yeah, you could squeeze a slimline on here, but it was tricky. If you were a Pink Fresh fan or Elizabeth Crafts fan, you had to do your die cutting in two different passes because the plate just wasn't long enough. So here with the new universal plate system, and for me, this is one of, beyond the flexibility to use the embossing folders, this is one of the key benefits to this new universal plate system, is that you've got about 1.5 inches more on the end here. So when it comes to your Pink Fresh dies, and I've got one right here. So if you've got, a big die like this where it doesn't really fit, unless you figure out a way to do it on the diagonal and make sure your paper still fits, otherwise it does hang off. On this new plate system, that slimline die fits a lot better. If you are an Elizabeth Crafts fan, your die is going to fit better, and so on and so forth. Even with Spellbinders, they've got some really nice slimline dies and embossing folders as well. On this little guy, it just barely fits. On the new one, you've got lots of room to maneuver. Get that straight, or get that cut nicely, get it nice and even pressure all the way throughout, so you don't have to worry about these longer formats with this new system. All right, so let's back up a little bit. Let me put these things away first. Okay, so adaptable thickness with your A and your B. Extra length, great functionality. What else is in here? Well, plate C is your basic cutting plates. And if you still have cutting plates from your previous Spellbinders in your stash, because maybe you were stocking up, maybe they were on sale, no sweat. These are the same thicknesses as cutting plates in the previous system. So you can still use them. You just won't have that length for that period of time. So maybe save your longer plates for your longer dies and use your regular plates, use your older plates for your small dies and your small cutting. That way, A, you get longer life out of your plates, and B, you get that ultimate flexibility. Next up is the D plate. This is your adapter plate. So when I get into showing you your embossing, this is what you use for embossing with 3D folders. Specifically the Spellbinders ones, but I'll get to that in just a minute. Then there is one of the rubber mats. And again, you would have received this in your original Spellbinders set with your machine, and you can buy them separately for the old system. Exact same thickness. You can still use your old one if you have it, but this comes in the set and gives you, again, that longer length. So if you wanted to turn one of your Thinlits dies into an embossed panel, then you can use this rubber mat to do just that. And then last but not least, they've actually given us a shim. So I know often we all just grab old cardstock, we grab chipboard, we grab, whatever we have in our hand if we need that little bit more thickness. Here in the universal plate system, you actually get a shim in your set. It is a wafer thin, as they say. But the nice thing about it is that it's durable. It's not going to tear if you spill water or get ink on it. No problem. It's going to stand up to that little bit of wear and tear. And what I find when I'm using cardstock as a shim is that over time it compresses. This one being the material that it is, it's not going to change its thickness over time. Now, you can buy the cutting plates on their own. So when your cutting plates wear out, you don't have to buy the whole system again. You can just buy new cutting plates just like you always do. And you can also buy the shims individually. They actually come in a 2-pack. I want to say they're around $4. But if you want these in your stash, it never hurts to have extras because you never know when you need just that little bit more thickness. So that is the rundown. Make sure I get these back in the right order here, just so I don't lose my place. I showed you that comparison up against, let's get this out of the way, up against the old Platinum 6. You can definitely see that difference in length. The thickness when you're using it properly is the same. I'm just going to show you compared to your Big Shot plates. Again, you've got extra length. The Big Shot plate looks like it is about maybe ½ an inch longer than the original Spellbinders plates. So with the universal system, you're now getting at least an inch, maybe even 1.25 inches of extra length on your plate. That thickness, once we add this, is still the same. And so you are compatible and copacetic across the board. So that is your Sizzix, that is your old Spellbinders, this is your new Spellbinders. All right, now, like I said, there is a lot of difference when it comes to embossing folders. And here on the platform, it does give you the basic sandwich. However, because of the difference in thicknesses, it's going to be hard to figure out. Sheri is asking a question here. Does the new system come in a size for the full-size Platinum machine? Right now, Sheri, this is the only size for the larger Platinum one. It does say that you can use these in the Platinum. It just won't be as wide. So that larger Platinum will have a wider opening, but these plates are 100% compatible with using in that machine. So definitely if you want to do your embossing folders, but you have that larger Platinum versus the Platinum 6, you can absolutely use this system in that machine. All right, so talking about embossing folders, Spellbinders did the work and has compared and created sandwiches for many of the popular embossing folders. So there's the Spellbinders 2D, there's the Spellbinders Cut and Emboss, the current 3D, the brand new ones. I am understanding that there were some older Spellbinders 3D folders way back in the day. So if you have those, then that's answered here as well. FSJ, which is a sister brand of Spellbinders sandwich, is also here. And then here we get into Sizzix. So Sizzix 3D, Sizzix 2D, Tim Holtz 3D, Stampin' Up, Creative Expressions, Altenew, and Nellie's Choice. Now they have invited, if there is a brand that is not seen here on this chart, you can always contact Spellbinders or contact me, and I can contact Paula to get that information for you. These are just the various sandwiches that they've created that worked very reliably, very consistently, and they wanted to share that with you so you don't have to do the math. And then what they've done is they've got a recommended sandwich here, and then they've actually visually stepped it out. So what I have done is I have added this chart as a free download that you can get right from the Universal Plate System page on our website. So that way, if you buy the Universal Plate System, you can just download this and print it off and then keep it with all of your stuff. And I'm going to refer to this. I'm going to do some demonstrations next. I'll refer to this as we go along and show you exactly how that works. Alrighty. So the other thing you get in your Universal Plate System is this little booklet that shows you some of the different, these are the three compatible, or there's the system, there's the plates, there's the shims. Shows you some of the different embossing folders, some of the new dies. This is all as of the June release, and a lot of these items we do have in stock. We didn't bring in all of the embossing folders, so if there's one here that you like that we don't have or that we've sold out of, happy to bring it in for you. And then once again, it shows you that compatibility. If you're just tuning in, I will just recap. This new system will work in the Platinum 6, the Platinum, the Big Shot. I am reasonably confident to say that it'll work in the Big Kick, the new Sizzix Switch. While we don't like to recommend crossing brands with this newer machine, I will circle back and follow up. But you get bigger plates with the Switch, so I'm not sure that you necessarily need the extra length here. But again, that's totally your call. Again, if you've got multiple machines and you want to be switching back and forth, let me just confirm that 100% for you before I get these in your hands and then they don't work. I do know that in the past, we have heard with the Sizzix Switch that if you are not using Sizzix plates, that you do risk voiding your warranty. That would just be another consideration. But let me get that information for you before I quote 100%, and I will make a post about that. Okay, so let's get in. Let's actually do some stuff. All right, I'm going to come right back here to my A plate. Got my little Platinum 6 here. And you know what? Let's just do a demo of each and every step. Shall we start with the embossing first? The embossing folders first, because that's the real benefit to this is the new 3D embossing folders. So for a Spellbinders 3D embossing folder, I need my adapter plate, I need my folder with my paper, and I need my platform base. So B can go away. And I need my adapter plate, which is a hard plastic plate. What I may even do is either take my label maker or even just a Sharpie and write on here that this is for 3D embossing folders. That way I don't have to always refer to this. I think once everybody gets using it, you're going to remember that that's what it's for. But if you want that little extra cheat sheet, you can. This is the Leafy new 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders, and I need some paper. So I've just got a piece of, this is the Gina K heavyweight cardstock. So it's going to show you just how beautiful this folder is going to run. Now, there is let's call it a debate going on, to mist or not to mist. In warmer climates, in more humid climates, you probably don't need to mist. As the summer gets hotter, as we get more humidity here, you probably don't need to mist. But I did a practice run before I did this video, and I found that my paper did crack just a little tiny bit. So I'm going to add just a little bit of moisture to my paper. That'll help the fibers stretch more beautifully and not crack and not cause wrinkles on the paper. So I'm just taking a little spray bottle of water, just a light spritz, both sides. Shake off the extra, and let's put it in place. And then base plate, let's get my machine open first, that'll be handy. Nothing worse than getting your sandwich ready and then realizing your machine is not ready. So my machine's ready. Base plate, embossing folder. I always tend to put the fold going through the machine. And with this one, because I've got the extra length, I'm not going to put it right along the edge. This is going to make it really hard for the machine to grab the plate and bring it through. So I'm going to bring it back about an inch, put my adapter plate on top, and away we go. Just need one pass. You don't need to go back and forth. And voila. And yeah, you can still see where my water was misting. That will dry out, but it's smooth and beautiful, and it's got that beautiful raised or debossed, whichever side you want to use, that beautiful, beautiful pattern. So that was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now let's do the exact same thing, but with a Sizzix 3D embossing folder. And I have a Tim Holtz one here. This one was called Cobblestone, I believe. Cobblestone number 2. It's a 3D folder from our friend Tim. Let me find my compatibility chart. So here we go. Tim Holtz 3D. Is it compatible? Yes. Recommended sandwich number 3. So in this case, what I'm doing is I've got my base plate, my folder with paper, and the cutting plate, not the adapter plate. I believe the cutting plate is a little bit thinner, so that'll still give you nice, even pressure without blocking your machine. Now I do need to cut a little bit more paper. So let me do that first. Get this. And back this way just a bit. There we go. There, I got 4 pieces I can demo with. All right, so this time we are still using our Platinum 6. We are still using our universal system. The only thing we're changing is we're moving to a Sizzix embossing folder. So put this aside. I don't need my adapter anymore. I've got my base plate. I've got my paper. Again, let me just mist it off camera. Whoops. You don't want it to go flying. All right. That in place. Fold at the top. Now I need my cutting plate. Voila. So, again, not right at the top. Bring it back. Put my plate on top. And getting it started is always the hardest part, but once you do, it's just smooth like butter. All right. And look at that. Look at all that beautiful dimension. So that is as much the folder as it is the machine, making sure that you are getting even pressure across your folder and getting the right pressure. Now, if you found that these weren't working for you, that they weren't getting raised enough, you could try adding a shim. My key piece of advice for any embossing, die cutting, anything you're doing with your machine, whether it's a Sizzix machine or a Spellbinders machine, if you face too much resistance, stop. Don't push it through if it's not going to go. You should not need to be a weightlifter with biceps like Popeye to push this through. It should roll smoothly like butter, just like I just showed you. All right, but now you guys are saying to me, you know what? I think this is great, but I don't have a Spellbinders machine. I have a Big Shot. Luckily, I have one of those too. So let's show you that. Let's show you through. I'm only going to do the Spellbinders die through the Spellbinders embossing folder through the Big Shot. But no, it's exactly the same as we just did through the Spellbinders. You just have to adjust your sandwich, use your compatibility chart, and it will work beautifully. So let me just switch machines here. Luckily, I have lots of floor space. All right, so I've got my platform. I've got my folder. I'm gonna spritz my paper. And put it through. So inside, adapter plate, Big Shot this time. Watch this. Easy peasy, rolls like butter. And there you have it. And the detail is absolutely stunning. So where did my... So this was through the Spellbinders machine. This is through the Big Shot. If you look at them carefully, you will not know the difference. So it's really nice that these are compatible with the Big Shot. You know, they are competitors. However, they know that there are lots of Spellbinders machines out there, lots of Big Shots out there, and we want to make sure that these work with both machines. All right, so that is that. I'm going to move back to my Spellbinders machine and let me show you. I'm going to cut something that's long and slimline so that you see how that all works. If there's anything else that you want to see me demonstrate, please put a note in the comments. I'm trying to keep an eye on that. And then we will move on for the day. So let me put my Big Shot away. Let me grab my Platinum again. Both are very high quality, good, sturdy workhorse machines. I love my Big Shot because I like when it's got a solid platform, but I also love the Platinum 6 because it really is a good, solid, sturdy machine that folds up easily for easier storage. And as we get back into traveling with our crafting, this one is definitely more portable than the Big Shot. All right, I'm gonna put the adapter up here. We're done with embossing folders. All right, let's start with that big birthday die. This big birthday die from Spellbinders. And this time I need some longer paper. I'm just gonna use a piece of Nina for this one. And my guillotine's not gonna cut it, so let's just do this. All right, so for cutting a thinlits die, starting from the bottom up, I need my platform base, then my platform top, then a cutting plate, then paper, die, cutting plate. Pretty standard sandwich as you have seen before. The big difference here is that this base, this platform, is now in two pieces. And that means I moved it, so I had to find it. Again, we've got that sandwich here on the platform top as well, so it is very easy for you to find. All right, then I need my cutting plate. And I should have one here. And you could tell I've not even cut with these yet, so they are nice and crisp and clean. All right, get everything lined up. Then I need my paper. Voila. Not putting it right to the top, but getting it as close to the top as I can. Let's pop open this birthday die. Chris is asking if the adapter, does the adapter information come with the Spellbinders machine? Not quite sure I understand your question, Chris. The current Spellbinders machines still have, or I should say the ones that we have in stock still have the old plate system. They will be changing and adapting the starter kit and the bundle with the Platinum 6 to include the new plates, but it has not happened yet to my knowledge. I hope that's what you were asking. Come on, the sticky thing. All right. So to review, in the current Platinum 6s, it's still the old plate system. As they get through those bundles, then they will move to the new system, and I can verify dates if Spellbinders has them for that happening. But right now you would have to buy your plate system separately. All right, so I've got my die in place, and again, look at how nicely that fits here on your plates. We're gonna load this up, and again, I'm not too close to the edge. The plates are beveled. They do have a little bit of a lip so that the machine can grab it and start applying pressure before it gets to the die. So you don't want to be right on the edge. Come on. Stop sliding. Here we go. And again, that awful cracking means it's working. That is just the dies cutting into that bottom cutting plate. And I know we all hate that sound, but voila, just like butter. So these will all tap off. I now have happy birthday all over my plates. But look at how nicely and how cleanly that cut. And again, it's nice that it is a great big slimline, and I was able to do it in one pass instead of doing half, sliding, and bringing it up again. And this would work exactly the same way in the Big Shot if you were using these in your Big Shot. Exact same process, exact same sandwich, and away you go. For those of you who are not familiar with that rubber embossing pad, let me show you that next. It's super cool. I've not done it very often myself, so bear with me as we figure it out. And I'm just going to move this. All right. I want to call out one other thing here. If you notice here on the platform top, not so much on the main platform, but here on the platform top, see how there's a bump in the middle? It is fractionally, infinitesimally thinner on the left and the right sizes with a little bit more thickness here in the middle. That is not a defect. It is done on purpose, because in your die cutting machines, again, whether it's Sizzix or whether it's Spellbinders, where the rollers attach to the sides here, your pressure is greater than it is in the middle. And you can ask my son Charlie, who loves everything physics, why that is. And maybe it's not even physics, maybe it's something else, but for mechanical reasons, the pressure is higher on the outside than it is on the inside. And that's why we've always told you, if you're going to be die cutting something long and skinny or something that needs extra pressure, go to the outsides. That's because the pressure in the middle is not as intense. So by having an adapter plate that has that little bit more thickness, it's almost like putting a skinny shim down the middle. it gives you that extra pressure to cut evenly across your whole die. So this was done on purpose, and that is why there is that little raised area on that plate. All right. I think I saw Darlene say that she loves using her rubber mat. Especially with foil plates. Ooh, that's a good idea. You know what? Let's just stick with the dies for now, and maybe Darlene can even do a demo sometime in the future using that embossing mat with a foil plate, though I'm sure it would work very much the same way. All right, how to emboss a cut shape. So I need my platform base, which I have here in my hands. I have my platform top, which I have over here. I'll put it on top in a second. We need the paper and the die cut side up. Then we need the embossing mat and the adapter plate. So what have I got here? So if I were to do something similar to that, here, I have this die here called the Scallop Symphony Note Card from Spellbinders. I'm just gonna pull this little section out of it. Yeah, because then I can die cut it afterwards. They're telling you to die cut it first. I'm gonna die cut it afterwards, just so that I know what size it is. So, plate. And you know what, maybe I will get just a little bit of tape just to hold it in place. So if I'm gonna do this, let's put a little bit of tape just to hold it in place so that I can flip it over. And then what did I say? Embossing mat and adapter plate. So there's the embossing mat and the adapter plate. All right, let the magic begin. Look at that. So this has embossed the pattern of the die right into the paper without cutting through. So that gives you that beautiful pattern, and then I could take the shape die and put it around the outside and actually cut it out, or I could just cut it out with my paper trimmer. So any of your cutting dies can also work as an embossing tool when you use that rubber mat. And you know what? Now that Darlene has said that, let me see if I can put my hands on a hot foil plate, and I'm gonna try it because now I'm curious. Ha. Okay, the only plate I can lay my hands on is my butterfly. This is a Pink Fresh. I really don't like the tape that they put on the back of these, but we'll get that off. Okay, so I'm gonna do the exact same sandwich. I'm gonna do my base plate, my top, my skinny bit. I'm gonna put this with the foiling side up, the pattern side up, put my paper over top, rubber mat. Hopefully that didn't slide under there. And my adapter plate. I think I just saw Diane's comment that she just learned something, that she didn't know that there were rubber mats. There are. So with Sizzix, I believe it's called the Emboss and Transfer Mat. With Spellbinders, I believe it's just called an embossing mat. You can buy them separately. Currently, it's just in the old size. All right. Oh, look at that. So that's with that butterfly hot foil plate. Now, I'm going to tell you, I did find that there was a fair bit of resistance. And as I look really closely at this, I do see a little bit of cracking. So I probably should have misted this before I ran it through. But you just take it slow. And like I said, if you find too much resistance, if you need both hands and both feet in order to turn the crank, then stop. But just a great way to get extra life out of your tools. And then, you can do this. This is that new Uncharted Mariner. Diane, I know you have your switch. I believe it can be, but I don't know off the top of my head, so we'll have to look at the manual and figure that out. I'm pretty sure it can. But then you could just do that. Get that raised. And then die cut it out. Like, isn't that gorgeous? So there you go. So that's it for me today. I think I've shown you everything I need to show you. Just as a final recap on the very, very basics. And I'm just going to use the cutting plate as my show and tell. Universal plate system. Benefits being that now you can use your Platinum 6 with 3D embossing folders. Spellbinders has done the work for many of our most popular and most common embossing folders, whether they're 2D or 3D, to help you with that sandwich. And you can get this compatibility chart right on our website on the Universal Plate SKU page. You also get extra length compared to the original system and compared to the Sizzix system. So to me, those are the two main benefits of this universal plate system. Once you get into the cutting plates, they are the same. Once you get into this embossing mat, it is the same. Your key main components for your embossing is your base plate, that adapter plate, the extra top platform for when you're die cutting, and that shim. So that shim is going to be your universal tool that you're going to move around as you need extra thickness. For me, I mean, it really is all about the length. I love having that extra length without having to go to that super long extended platforms. And I love that I can use this in both my Spellbinders as well as my Big Shot machine. Homework for me, I need to get you some of those answers with regards to the Sizzix Switch. And your homework is to check this out and see if you want to add it to your next order. So that's it for me today. Again, this is available for replay if you tuned in partway through. Darlene did say excellent length for the Elizabeth Craft dies, and I did show that earlier as well. So just, again, anything that's longer than this standard platform, which typically is, it's about 9 inches. We find that a lot of the slimlines are, a little bit longer than 9, or even if they are right on 9, if you want to get a good start cut or a good end cut, then you still have to shift it. So this way it gives you lots of that wiggle room in order to cut your slimlines, cut your Elizabeth Craft, use bigger embossing folders, do all of those things that you've had trouble with the smaller plate without having to go to the super extended plates. So yeah, go and check out the information we have on the website. Take a look at your stash, and if you think that you've got longer dies that you want to get more use out of, then this is great for you. Any questions at all? Once I have completed this video, you can either drop them in the comments and I'll get notified, or you can email us at customerservice@craftersworkshop.ca, and we will get those answers for you. So have a wonderful Monday. From my basement room, it looks nice and sunny outside, so I'm hoping to get outside a little bit as well today. And happy crafting. Have a great day.